What's up, YouTube? Uh, Today I'm gonna kind of just go over the Rampage XTE again. I know I just had an unboxing video for it, but this is the one I had talked about. I'm gonna be upgrading, doing some upgrades and things, and just seeing what fits and works and how everything looks. Um, Everything on this truck right now has the aluminum upgrades that are available, with the exception of the lower arms, the rear shock tower, which was not available, and this front chassis piece right here, which was not available at the time, which they are now, but um, get them in and we'll get them on this thing later. But the lower arms, I mean, I kind of want some give. Uh, just see how it goes. If you start breaking the arms, you can replace them and get the aluminum there. But I mean, they're pretty pricey. I mean, they're not cheap for this thing. And I was trying to keep it more practical. But I mean, you see, we got the upgraded pigback shocks. Um, we did the upgraded front piece here. Now these, it's very deceiving. The pieces that you replace here are full aluminum as well, but it's kind of like the shock towers were. Um, they're almost the same thickness. These actually have like the little bump out here, but it was this thick, minus that, and it was just more of a straight bar. Didn't have the beveled, so I guess that does add a little bit more flex, kind of like the shock tower was. The shock tower was the same thing. It was a little bit thinner, and this actually is a little wider, so the shocks have a little more width between them, which I can show you the difference in a second. Um, I can tell you the steering knuckles, man, these things made a huge difference in comparison to, the other truck. Um, the plastic, I don't know if it's the plastic, the hubs, or what it is about it, because these are a little bit shallower. But these things, man, when they're off the truck, I can just spin it, and it's got so much free motion, whereas I don't feel that on this one. So it's probably causing some drag and things along that line that um, we'll address on this one at a later point. I'm keeping this one stock for now while I'm showing this one. So again, that's something I did notice. Definitely a plus. I don't care what they're worth. I don't care if you get the upper arms or not. So far, I can tell you right now that this is going to give you less friction, which is going to put you over probably the 39 miles per hour that we got top speed on this, knowing that it's so stiff like that. So um, again, the aluminum front shock tower. We did the upper arms. Again, this makes a big difference here as well. I mean, I'm trying to show. I don't know how easy it is to see on this. There's no play, no budge. Right here, there's some wobble, there's some play. Not a ton. I mean, you can see the rocking. And then here it's, I'm pulling the truck trying to get it to move. So, the upper arms, again, great pickup. It keeps the top done. So if something happens, I mean, this is an aluminum, it's an aluminum. So I'm not worried about here. Down here, if something's going to give, I don't want to bend the chassis to the aluminum frame. It's a pretty thick A-arm. Pretty sure it's going to hold up. So, if it doesn't, they're not that expensive. Even if you buy 2 or 3 sets of these, stay away from the aluminum arms, unless you just want that look. But I mean, this does have the nice feature where if you do go aluminum on aluminum, they are in like these little plastic bushings in here, the suspension arms. So it does have a little bit of give, and maybe it'll damage them prior to damaging the chassis, or bending your A-arm if you get in a bad accident or something. So I mean, it's all hearsay. Maybe that doesn't happen at all. So do what you like. If you got the money, you want to hook it all up, go for it. All right. Also, put the front suspension braces on. These are considered an upgrade. They used to come on the stock photo, but I think they have since changed it. Yeah, I mean, they'll support it. I mean, it was pretty stiff without it, opposed to this one that had a little bit of play. I haven't put them on this one yet either, but it definitely stiffened it up some. So that was a big bonus. Upper plate here, man. That's yeah. Let's turn this around. I guess I could go side by side. I was going to show you guys the one afterwards. Most of you have seen it, but this is, I mean, You can see it's got a better appearance, obviously, with the bling without the plastic. Just kind of dull look. So definitely looks sharper. Hubs are a plus. Upper arm to me is a plus. This piece, it's nice to have that in aluminum. Does it tighten it up more than this will? Probably. Is it necessary to get? Probably not yet. I would maybe, if you don't want to spend a ton of money at first, wait on this piece, because I forget what the total price was of it, but it still wasn't, I'm sure the cheapest considering. All right, so again, continue with this. With having this is it's a 980 kV motor, 150 ESC. So we get the Max 5 Leopard branded Max 5. I have a Leopard 1440 kV for 6S. So we're going from a 6S 980 to a 1440. In doing so, we dropped the pinion gear down to an 8 from a 10. And I got the Kershaw Spur gear here. This is a 45 tooth compared to the 41. So clearly it's a much larger pinion gear. I'm sorry, Spur gear, and smaller pinion gear. But we had to do away with the plastic housing. It just wouldn't fit. The Spur gear was too big. It was wider. All that stuff. So it's gone. It's done away with. With Kershaw also had to do with this from the Spur. Had to do these bushings down here, which I wound up doing bearings. Just kind of raises it up so the Spur doesn't hit the ground. There's these little white ones up here as well, so it's all pretty stiff and solid in there, so I'm not really worried about that. Mounting the ESC is a little tricky. So huge, and this one kind of comes down and sits in, so I have a video I'll probably just show you real quick in case you're interested in doing this and thinking of some upgrades. I'm going to insert that video just showing you what I decided to do with this and how we came up with this design. Alright, so I'm running into an issue here. This is the layout right now for the stock ESC. This is the Max 5. Now where to put it? Now Kershaw will tell you to mount it here with zip ties. Well, I'm sorry, I don't want it mounted there. If I had no other choice and this was all I wanted to do, I mean, wouldn't be the end of the world, but I'm not going to do that. That's just, I don't know, man. A little disappointed right now, but so what I'm going to do, this piece is about, like, I don't know, $8, something like that. I'm going to cut this brace here off. We're going to be upgrading this to aluminum anyway, so this should be plenty enough to support this front, because this really is not supporting anything. It just kind of brackets right here, but once this is aluminum, it's going to re-strengthen anything that this is doing at all, if anything. So I'm going to cut this off here, and then this piece will, with a couple new holes, line up right there, and then give me a flat surface to mount the ESC. So that's the goal here. We'll see how it turns out. I kind of marked where I want to take off. I mean, just kind of right here. I got it where it's coming over. I'm going to try to keep that there. Just, I mean, it's a thick piece. I don't want to dig into it too much. It's got that support right there. So I'm going to take it over to there and down. I don't know. I'll see when I start cutting. I mean, I don't know. I might just chop it off there and chop that whole piece off. Either way, it's a nice hard piece of plastic, so I'm not really worried about it. Once I drill my new holes, this should all work out, so we'll see. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do then. I'm just going to take it off right here. Alright, I mean, that's what I got now. And this was just keep that from rubbing off. So I'll go see if this now fits better. When I originally did this, I didn't see any of these holes lining up. But now that I got that piece off of there, I mean, those holes line up right there. And these holes almost line up. And I tell you what, the only thing keeping that from lining up right now is that little lip. So I'm going to get rid of that right there, and I think I won't even have to cut any holes. Alright, let's see. Alright. So lined up there. And lined up there. Look at that. Doesn't touch at all. Perfect. And now this can mount right there and even overhang if it needs to. Perfect. Alright, problem solved for now. Don't like having to do that, but it's really nice when it actually works out that well. I mean, those holes not having to be re-drilled, and it's just a nice. Alright, so that was, you know, the best thing I could come up with without mounting up here like Kershaw recommended me doing, because, you know, of course they sold me the ESC. Upon the recommendation, I got that, even though I knew this motor would probably get away with the Max 6. Probably didn't need the Max 5, but we want it to be a little future-proof in case we decide to go with the 8S motor later on. We probably also have to change the motor mount and things, because you know, I think the motor mount will handle it, but it's just, you're going to put yourself over here into this front plate here, which yeah, I'm about to make aluminum, so I don't know if we want to do that yet or not. Hopefully this motor holds up, and with the drop in the pinion gear and the raising of the spur gear is going to give it enough torque and plus speed out of that 1440 motor, 1480 motor. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you guys know about that as well. So let's see what else. Oh, we got the back suspension arms, or the brace. It's kind of like the front one, only much larger. I mean, these just make it feel really good as well. I mean, that's just a really good solid feeling. Plastic, I mean, it is what it is. It's plastic. It's got a little flex. It's probably going to hold up, but if that goes, very nice upgrade. Definitely stiffened it all up a little bit. And again, just for the rear for this, there was no aluminum upgrades for this. We got the rear hubs as well, which, I mean, they tighten it up the best you can in the rear. So I mean, they're definitely not as big as the rear hubs on this, so you will need to get a shorter screw, because the other screw is meant to go through both sides of the hubs. So I mean, that's where I'm at, man. Right now, this it's a beast of a build. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that it's going to get us more than 39. But like I said, I'm thinking, you know, with the hub upgrades and things with this right now, I'm probably about 42, 43. Just taking off some of the reduction of friction I've seen on these hubs compared to the aluminum, you know, which of course I have dry lube on and things like that are, you know, just got them spinning so nicely right now. And I try to pour some down in these without taking it all apart. But I did have them off doing a comparison and things, so that's when I got a chance to really see the difference. So it's I mean, it's a nice truck, man. I can't wait to get this thing out and see what she's got. Hopefully the weather holds up so I can get it out. But we'll get a first run on this. Let me not bypass this. For this, I chose to go with the XT 150, obviously with the bigger motor, and we put out some more amps. And also talking about future proof of putting a bigger motor in. You know, we wanted something that's going to be able to have some bite and some amperage to be able to kick through it. So it's got the connection wire to it that allows you to run the 2 lipos. And again, with multiple lipo options, because you have the option to move this tray up and put the longer lipos in, or you can use the fat packs. Let me see, you have some options with this truck as well. So, but yeah, that's where I got today, man. I just want to show you guys this. I get the first speed run in on this video. If not, I'll have that separate. Just want to show you guys what the upgraded truck looks like. So See the differences. I'll give one overview, one pass, and then I'll be out. You guys have any questions, hit me up. There it is. I mean, I hopefully got all the good angles for you. Let you see the differences, and we'll see some performance here shortly. I always say last, and never make it to last. I did cut this one as well. Again, it's perfect again at 4 in the front, 5 in the back. So you take all 5 pegs, go down from the bottom. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you just cut that one. I used my Dremel this time. I just made a nice clean cut. And then for the body, you just take it up a little bit here. Make sure you angle a little bit in the front, and it fits perfectly on there. It sits lower and it goes right up to here, so you don't see all the electronics and stuff under it like it does stock. So again, if you didn't catch my first video, that's one thing you can do to give that thing a nice lowered look as well. So alright guys, I'm out for real this time.